Dopamine. You open your phone to check one message. 10 minutes later, you are still scrolling, not because every video is amazing, but because your brain keeps whispering, maybe the next one will be. That pull is not just bad discipline. It is your reward system learning where to look for the next hit of possibility. Dopamine is often called the pleasure chemical, but that is the cartoon version. A better way to understand it is this. Dopamine is deeply involved in motivation, wanting, learning, and reward prediction. It helps your brain mark something as worth chasing again. Food, praise, achievement, novelty, games, messages, social approval. Dopamine helps tag those experiences with a little mental note that says, pay attention. This might matter. The important part is that dopamine often rises before the reward, not only after it. It is anticipation. The unread message, the loading screen, the unopened package. The first bite you are imagining before the food even arrives. That is why uncertain rewards can be so sticky. If every scroll gave the same result, your brain would get bored. But when the next one might be funny, useful, shocking, or personal, the chase stays alive. Your thumb becomes a tiny slot machine, except the casino fits in your pocket and pretends it is a productivity tool. Dopamine is not evil, though. Without it, goals would feel flat. Learning would lose its spark. Effort would have no go toward that signal. The problem starts when cheap, fast rewards train your brain to expect fireworks for almost no effort. Then slower rewards, studying, exercise, building a skill, finishing real work, can feel painfully underfunded. So dopamine is not the happiness button. It is the pursuit signal. It can push you toward growth or keep you chasing the next glowing rectangle. The trick is not to destroy dopamine. It is to teach your brain that the best rewards are not always the fastest ones. Adrenaline. You hear a loud crash behind you, and before you even understand what happened, your body is already moving. Heart faster, breath sharper, eyes wider, muscles tighter. Your brain has not finished the sentence, but your body has already opened the emergency exit and started yelling instructions. That surge is adrenaline, a hormone released mainly by the adrenal glands when your body senses danger, pressure, shock, or excitement. It is part of the fight-or-flight response, the system that helps you react before your calm, rational brain has time to hold a committee meeting. Very useful because if a car swerves toward you, you do not want your brain saying, let's discuss options. You want legs, now. Adrenaline tells the heart to pump faster, helps open airways so more oxygen can come in, pushes blood toward working muscles, and tells the liver to release stored glucose for quick fuel. Basically, your body enters emergency performance mode. The pupils widen to take in more information. Digestion slows down because your stomach does not need to calmly process noodles while your body thinks survival is trending. This is why fear can make your chest pound, your hands shake, your mouth dry, and time feel weirdly stretched. Your body is not being dramatic. It is reallocating resources like a panicked event manager who just found out the building is on fire. The funny part is that adrenaline does not only show up for real danger. It can appear before a presentation, on a roller coaster, during competition, after a near miss in traffic, or when someone texts, "Can we talk?" and refuses to explain for 6 minutes like a psychological supervillain. So, adrenaline is not just fear juice. It is speed, oxygen, fuel, focus, and muscle readiness packed into one chemical alarm bell. Helpful when danger is real. Exhausting when your body treats an email, a deadline, or one awkward conversation like a tiger walked into the room carrying a clipboard. Cortisol. You wake up already feeling behind, check your phone, see 3 messages, 1 deadline, and an email that starts with friendly reminder. Suddenly your body starts acting like the village gates are under attack. That is where cortisol comes in. Cortisol is often called the stress hormone, but that makes it sound like a villain wearing a tiny cape. It is not automatically bad. Cortisol helps your body manage pressure by raising available energy, supporting blood sugar, influencing blood pressure, and coordinating parts of the immune response. It is released through the HPA axis, the hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and adrenal glands, which is basically the body's emergency management group. Chat. When stress hits, this system helps decide how much fuel you need and where the body should spend it. The useful part is short-term cortisol. If you need to wake up, focus, respond to danger, or push through a real challenge, cortisol helps keep energy available. It tells the body, not nap time, we have a situation. The problem is when the situation becomes your entire lifestyle. Poor sleep, constant deadlines, emotional stress, too much caffeine, overtraining, or non-stop worry can keep the stress system activated longer than it was built for. Then your body starts living like a smoke alarm that cannot stop screaming after the toast is already fine. You may feel wired but tired, hungry at weird times, foggy, irritable, tense, or unable to fully relax because your system keeps budgeting energy for an emergency that never officially ends. So, cortisol is not your enemy. It is a crisis manager, helpful during the fire. Exhausting when it moves into your house, rearranges the furniture, and keeps yelling urgent at every normal Tuesday. Insulin, you eat something sweet and your bloodstream does not politely say, nice snack. It suddenly has glucose arriving like a crowd of concert goers rushing the gates. Glucose is blood sugar, and your cells can use it for energy, but it cannot just wander into most cells whenever it wants. That is where insulin comes in. Insulin is a hormone made by the pancreas, and after you eat carbohydrates, it helps move glucose from the blood into cells, especially muscle, fat, and liver cells. Think of insulin like a keycard system. Glucose is standing outside the building with luggage, and insulin tells the doors, let this one in. Without that signal working properly, sugar stays in the blood longer than it should, like delivery boxes piling up in a hallway while everyone inside complains they are hungry. The smart part is storage. If your body does not need all the glucose right away, insulin helps store some of it as glycogen in the liver and muscles, and extra energy can be stored as fat. This is not evil, it is survival accounting. The body likes backup fuel because it was designed by evolution, not by a meal prep influencer with labeled containers. The problem starts when the system has to work too hard too often, or when cells stop responding well to insulin. That is called insulin resistance, and it means the key still exists, but the locks get stubborn. The pancreas may release more insulin to push the message harder, like a manager sending the same email in all caps. Over time, that can become a serious metabolic issue. So insulin is not just the sugar hormone. It is traffic control for fuel. It opens cell doors, stores extra energy, protects blood sugar balance, and keeps your bloodstream from turning into a sticky traffic jam after every meal. Thyroxine. Some people feel like their body is running in slow motion. Others feel like the engine is revving even when they are just sitting there, doing nothing except trying to exist peacefully in a chair. Thyroxine is one of the main hormones made by the thyroid gland, a small butterfly-shaped gland in the neck that somehow has the energy of a tiny factory supervisor with access to every department. Thyroxine helps set the speed of metabolism, how fast your body uses energy, makes heat, and keeps systems moving. It affects heart rate, body temperature, digestion, brain energy, skin, hair, and how fast cells burn fuel. Think of it like the body's engine speed dial. Too low and everything can feel sluggish, cold, heavy, and slow. Too high, and the system can feel like someone taped the accelerator down and walked away. The interesting part is how small the gland is compared to how loud its effects can be. Your thyroid does not need to be huge to boss the body around. It releases hormones into the blood, and those hormones tell cells how energetically to work. It is not magic, it is chemical management. Your cells are basically asking, how fast are we running today? And thyroxine sends the memo. That is why thyroid changes can show up in places that seem unrelated. Weight shifts, heat or cold sensitivity, tiredness, restlessness, heart rhythm changes, constipation, sweating, dry skin, or hair changes. One hormone system can make the whole body feel like it is either stuck in traffic or speeding downhill in a shopping cart. So, thyroxine is not just a metabolism word from a biology textbook. It is the pace setter, heat manager, fuel signal, and tiny neck-based engine dial that helps decide whether your body hums, crawls, or acts like it drank espresso through a fire hose. Estrogen, do not think of this as the female hormone. And stop there. That is the lazy version. The biology equivalent of calling a smartphone a rectangle that beeps. Estrogen is a group of hormones that helps regulate the reproductive system, but it also affects bones, blood vessels, skin, brain function, body temperature, and many other tissues. It rises and falls across the menstrual cycle, changes during puberty, pregnancy, and menopause, and exists in all bodies at different levels. So yes, it is deeply involved in reproduction. But it is also a maintenance crew, a signal system, and a long-term body architect with a clipboard and no patience for simple labels. One of its biggest jobs is helping regulate the uterine lining during the menstrual cycle. It also supports bone density by helping slow bone breakdown, which is why estrogen changes after menopause can affect bone health. In the brain, estrogen interacts with systems involved in mood, temperature regulation, and cognition. In the skin and blood vessels, it can influence elasticity, blood flow, and tissue behavior. Basically, estrogen is not pushing one button. It is walking through the body, adjusting lights, checking pipes, maintaining walls, and occasionally changing the thermostat without telling anyone. The everyday signs of shifting estrogen can show up as cycle changes, hot flashes, mood shifts, sleep changes, skin changes, or bone health concerns depending on the person and life stage. That does not mean every mood swing is just hormones, because humans are not soup with Wi-Fi. Context matters. So estrogen is not a stereotype in chemical form. It is reproduction, bone support, tissue signaling, brain interaction, and body maintenance. A hormone system that does far more than people give it credit for, and absolutely refuses to fit inside one lazy label. Oxytocin. A hug is not just two people awkwardly folding their skeletons together. Under the surface, the body can release oxytocin, a hormone involved in bonding, trust, childbirth, and milk letdown. People love calling it the love hormone, but that nickname is cute and dangerously oversimplified, like calling the ocean a big, wet thing. Oxytocin is made in the hypothalamus and released by the pituitary gland. During childbirth, it helps the uterus contract. During breastfeeding, it helps move milk out through the milk letdown reflex. In social bonding, it can support closeness, attachment, and caregiving behaviors, especially in the right context. It is not a magic friendship potion. You cannot spray oxytocin on a terrible relationship and suddenly get a healthy family dinner. Biology is powerful, not a Disney wand. The interesting part is that oxytocin works with situation, memory, safety, and trust. A warm hug from someone you love can feel calming. The same touch from someone you do not trust can feel like a security alarm wearing a sweater. Context matters. Your nervous system asks, "Is this person safe?" before the bonding chemicals get to look heroic. That is why oxytocin is better understood as a social bonding signal, not universal love juice. It helps the body lean into connection when the environment feels safe enough. Think of it like social glue, but not the cheap kind that sticks everything together forever. More like a careful adhesive that works best when the surfaces are clean, aligned, and not actively on fire. So, oxytocin is not just romance in chemical form. It is birth, milk release, attachment, caregiving, trust, and safety all woven into one hormone system. The body's way of saying connection is not just emotional, it is biological. Melatonin. The room gets dark, the house gets quiet, and your body starts acting like a theater before the movie begins. Lights lower, noise drops, the audience settles. Melatonin is the hormone that helps send that nighttime signal. It is made mainly by the pineal gland, but it is not a cartoon sleeping potion that knocks you out with a tiny hammer. It tells your internal clock, night mode is starting. As evening comes and light decreases, melatonin usually rises, working with your circadian rhythm. The body's 24-hour timing system that helps organize sleep, temperature, hormones, digestion, and alertness. Think of melatonin like the quiet building manager walking through your body, dimming the lights, lowering the thermostat, and telling every department, "Wrap it up, we are closing soon." The tricky part is that melatonin is a signal, not sleep itself. You can get the signal and still stay awake if stress is loud, caffeine is still hanging around, your schedule is chaotic, or bright light keeps telling your brain the day is not over. Your brain uses light information from the eyes to judge time, so late-night brightness can confuse the clock, like someone opening the curtains during a movie and yelling, "Good morning," at the worst possible moment. Melatonin also shifts with age, travel, shift work, and inconsistent sleep timing. That is why jet lag feels so strange. Your body's clock thinks it is one time, while the world rudely insists it is another. So melatonin is not the sleep button. It is the darkness messenger, the circadian whisper, the tiny internal dimmer switch telling your body, the day is ending. Sleep still needs the rest of the crew to cooperate. Serotonin. Your mood is not controlled by one tiny happy chemical sitting in your brain with a smiley face button. Serotonin is much more interesting than that and much less obedient. It is a chemical messenger involved in mood, sleep, appetite, digestion, nausea, pain processing, and communication between nerve cells. A lot of people talk about serotonin like it lives only in the brain, but a large amount of the body's serotonin is found around the gut. Which is rude, honestly, because it means your stomach has been involved in your emotional group chat this whole time. The brain side matters because serotonin helps shape how neural circuits regulate mood, sleep, and emotional balance. But it does not work like a vending machine where more serotonin automatically equals one happiness, please. Brain chemistry is more like a city traffic system. Signals, receptors, timing, location, and context all matter. In the gut, serotonin helps regulate movement and sensitivity, which is one reason stress and digestion can feel so connected. You get nervous before a presentation, and suddenly your stomach starts behaving like it received classified information. That is not imagination. Your gut and nervous system talk constantly through the gut-brain axis, like two departments that pretend to be separate, but clearly share all the gossip. Serotonin is also involved in sleep timing because it connects with pathways that influence melatonin, alertness, and the sleep-wake cycle. So reducing it to happy chemical is like calling an entire orchestra the triangle guy. Serotonin is not a mood button. It is a messenger, coordinator, gut signal, sleep helper, and emotional traffic light. It does not make you magically happy, but it helps your brain and body keep the system from turning into a crowded intersection with no stop signs. Testosterone. Forget the cartoon version where testosterone is just aggression, gym mirrors, and someone yelling about protein powder. That is not biology. That is a supplement ad with biceps. Testosterone is a hormone found in all bodies at different levels, and it plays major roles in muscle mass, bone density, red blood cell production, libido, sperm production, energy, and the development of certain sex characteristics. It is made mostly in the testes in males, in smaller amounts in the ovaries in females, and also by the adrenal glands. So no, it is not the male personality chemical. It is a bodybuilding and maintenance signal with a very busy schedule. During puberty, testosterone helps deepen the voice, increase body hair, support muscle growth, and develop reproductive tissues. In adults, it continues helping maintain muscle, bones, sexual function, and general vitality. But more does not automatically mean better. Hormones are not video game stats where you just max one bar and become unstoppable. Too little can cause problems. Too much, especially from outside substances, can also cause problems. The body likes balance, not someone turning the hormone dashboard into a nightclub soundboard. And context matters. Sleep, body fat, illness, stress, age, medications, and health conditions can all affect levels. That is why reducing testosterone to confidence juice or rage fuel is lazy. It can influence behavior indirectly, but behavior is also shaped by brain circuits, culture, choices, sleep, stress, and whether someone has the emotional regulation of a shopping cart with one broken wheel. So, testosterone is not masculinity in a bottle. It is muscle support, bone maintenance, reproductive signaling, red blood cell help, and long-term body regulation. a hormone that builds and maintains systems, not an excuse to act like a dramatic gorilla in a tank top. Which sign surprised you most? Tell us in the comments, and stay tuned for the next video by liking and subscribing to the channel. Thank you for watching.